One of the most recent discoveries Frank Law made is that there is a new species, so small it could fit on a credit card, but no matter how small it may be, the discovery is still astounding. The German herpetologist has helped describe scores of new species from Madagascar, but the latest one is special. Considering B. nana is the smallest reptile on Earth, it would make sense for it to be one of the most elusive species. From just 14 millimeters (0.55 inches), this chameleon can perch freely on an aspirin tablet like a miniature Lilliputian chameleon. Two specimens, a male and female, were collected in 2012 by Angela Razafeminenso, who works as a tourist guide at Montagne d'Amber National Park in northern Madagascar and assists scientific expeditions. The female was distinctly bigger at 19 millimeters or 0.75 inches. It feels a little silly to be like, oh, it's a few millimeters smaller than this other thing. Mark D. Schurz, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Potsdam and study co-author, tells National Geographic. But when millimeters are 2 or 3% of your body size, then that's a lot of change. Most of science happens in these small incremental steps. For 9 years, Brachija micra, a cousin of B. nana, described in 2012, clung to the title of tiniest chameleon. B. nana is smaller than B. micra in body size, measured from snout to cloacal opening at the base of the tail, but it sports a longer tail. Differences in how size is determined make it complicated to definitively claim that a species is the planet's littless. A branch of Brachija, chameleons exhibit extreme miniaturization, leaving scientists scouring dictionaries for synonyms for small. There is already a Brachija minima, so the researchers settle on nana, derived from the Latin word for dwarf. Glaw and his colleagues published their findings in a recent paper in Scientific Reports. Dwarf echoes from the Caribbean are the Malagasy chameleon's closest competitors for the smallest reptile crown. Small islands like those in the Caribbean often give rise to diminutive creatures, but why this happens is still a mystery. There are loads of processes that can actually drive miniaturization. Mark D. Schurz, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Potsdam in Germany and co-author of the paper, said, "It might, for example, just be evolutionary drift, but it could also be driven by resource availability. The isolation and freedom from traditional restraints on body mass, like availability of food or presence of predators, could be one explanation for unusual sizes. We are only slowly starting to piece together the puzzle to figure this out," Schurz said.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Madagascar, a landmass of continental proportions, has long surprised scientists in the array of miniature species it hosts. The island broke off from Africa 150 million years ago and from the Indian subcontinent 88 million years ago, and remains a veritable playground for evolution. Most of its chameleons, including B. nana, are found nowhere else in the world. "We stumble upon new species on every expedition to Madagascar," said Glaw, who leads almost yearly expeditions to Madagascar from the Bavarian State Collection of Zoology in Munich. He has spent more than 3 decades uncovering the island's reptilian and amphibian wonders, working closely with Malagasy collaborators. Madagascar's far north is a hub for Brachija species, and there are 30 of them in this genus alone. The island as a whole has more than 100 species of chameleons, including the largest of these Old World lizards, the Parsons chameleon Calama parsonia. The newly described chameleon is not just micro in size, it is also micro-endemic. It only occupies a narrow band of degraded rainforest on the Cerrado Massif in northern Madagascar. Unlike many of its tiny cousins that inhabit lowland forest, it is found in jungles lying 1,300 meters, 4,300 feet above sea level. An arc of deforestation is creeping up on its habitat, the authors wrote in the paper. When the team visited the site in 2012, large swaths of low-altitude forests in the mountainous terrain were already vanishing as villagers cleared woodland to make way for farmland and pasture for their cattle. In the absence of other fuel sources, Malagasy, a people depend heavily on wood for everything from cooking to heating to construction. Even as natural habitats continue to disappear on the island, species are being uncovered with astonishing regularity. Not quickly enough, given the threats to the country's famed forests, Glaw noted. "There is a kind of race against extinction. I would not be completely surprised if many of these species will be gone by the end of this century," he said. The forest corridor where the Cerrado Massif is located was designated a protected area in 2015, kindling hopes that Bainana might yet be saved. Known by its French acronym, Chameleon, the reserve spans 238,176 hectares, 588,500 fortified acres, and is one of the last remaining unbroken blocks of rainforests in Madagascar. It is managed by WWF. It's all good and well to say, "Oh, I really hope that people stop deforesting this forest," says Shrez, but until the economic future of Madagascar changes, there's no hope for any of its wildlife because the people have to eat. Scientists have only found 2 members of the new species, so it's possible their average size is longer or shorter than what was recorded in the study. Other members of the Brachygia genus are small too. And despite being chameleons, they don't have much capacity for color changing,